Welcome to 1500ESPN.com. You know the names by now. I'm Derek Wetmore. This is our Vikings beat reporter, Andrew Krammer. We're here at the Metrodome for what was the ugliest loss of the season by the Minnesota Vikings. Fall 35-10 to the Carolina Panthers to fall to a record of 1-4. First things first, Andrew, let's get to some injury notes to update after the game and the general vibe in the locker room.
Yeah, definitely. They had Chris Cook and Jamarcus Sanford coming back from injuries. Everyone thought full strength. This defense is maybe going to actually see what it can do against a passing offense that wasn't that dynamic and wasn't necessarily making anybody scared coming into this game. Yet we have three more injuries to the defense here. Harrison Smith exits with a turf toe injury. Desmond Bishop has a knee sprain, and then of course Xavier Rhodes leaves with an ankle sprain. He comes back in, tries it out, and then has to leave in the fourth quarter again. Frazier afterwards said he hopes that this isn't any long-term injuries. Obviously, all three guys are going to get MRIs, and we'll see what it's like on Monday with these guys. But it didn't sound like they were committed either way, whether these were serious injuries or not. But either way, it doesn't matter. They gave up, again, more than 350 yards of total offense, more than 27 points again. So those two marks, 350 yards of offense and 27 points. This team has spotted their opponents every single game. That's 5 tries. This isn't an anomaly. So there's a lot wrong with this secondary. Be able to throw at them at will. It doesn't matter who's injured and who's not. So just a poor performance overall. And really the locker room was the same as it was down in Soldier Field. It was the same as it was after the Cleveland game. It seems to be a recurring theme over and over. And it kind of makes you wonder, after last year when this team won 5 of its 6 games that were decided by 1 score, now none of those games are going this way, and now they're getting blown out at home by Carolina.
Yeah, a lot of people, players especially, I spoke with Jared Allen after the game, mentioned the word embarrassing. I heard that dropped probably a dozen times in the short time in the locker room after the game, and I suppose that's about the only way you can summarize it at this point, huh?
It really is. Not too many buzzwords you can keep coming up with continuing losses like this, but Chris Cook called it embarrassing as well. Other players just said it was unacceptable. But what do you do after this? The offense couldn't get anything going. They had 3 points in the first 59 minutes of this game. Kyle Rudolph scores a touchdown in garbage time. So there really wasn't much to take away positive from this game.
Sure. Now the news of Adrian Peterson's son passing away this week may have left the team, or Peterson, with some heavy hearts, and of course it's a sad situation. Let's touch on that before we get to the quarterback situation. We talked with Adrian after the game. What's kind of the vibe surrounding that?
Well, obviously the players talked about playing for Adrian, but after a performance like this, no one said it was, for the better. So Peterson just basically, you talked to Peterson after the game, but he just seemed pretty somber about it. Someone asked him, about his son directly. He just declined to comment on that and said, let's talk about football. He said, we just got beat by 25 points. What do you want to talk to me about that for? So everyone's focused on the game and the loss, and obviously people are down by what had happened with Peterson's son, but no one's willing to talk about that. Obviously, there's no reason to. There's plenty to talk about after this game.
Yeah, it's a tough situation to grapple with for Adrian, I'm sure, and he talked about he's dealt with tons of adversity in his lifetime, and football kind of always helps him get through. Just a difficult situation to talk with Adrian in the locker room afterwards. Moving back to the football field, though, the Vikings are likely entrenched now in a full-fledged quarterback controversy. After the Vikings signed free agent Josh Freeman, the talk shifted to, what if Matt Castle plays well for a few weeks and the Vikings continue to roll out victories and are at 3-3?
We don't need to worry about that now.
I think those concerns have gone by the wayside now. Not that Matt Castle played poorly today. His final numbers, he passed 44 times, looking up his stats right here. 32 completions in 32 of 44 passing. He didn't play great. The 2 interceptions were his fault, overthrown balls. Yes, there was some defensive pressure, but he airmailed both throws. I think, personally, Andrew, and you have a better gauge on this, so I'll ask you next. I think as soon as Josh Freeman is capable to execute a game plan, he starts for this team, because now your objective as the Minnesota Vikings is to figure out if he's the long-term quarterback. Andrew, I'll turn it to you. Do you think it's possible that he starts next Monday night in New York against the Giants?
I think it's no doubt at this point. Coming into this game, my opinion was Castle's going to have a lights-out career performance to even get a shot at the starting job. The reason they brought Josh Freeman into here was to put him into the starting lineup and see what he can do. You don't bring back another backup quarterback, which is what they did with Castle this offseason, to back up Ponder. Ponder experiment failed. You bring in Castle. Castle didn't play that well today. he didn't even play as well as he did over in London, in my opinion, because he had the 2 balls that should have been intercepted, unlike in London when they were dropped. So these kind of things that you see back-to-back weeks, now Castle is not your long-term answer. He's not even your answer for the rest of the season. So I would not be surprised to see Josh Freeman starting on Monday night against the Giants in a matchup that's now, for the NFL, a combination of 1-10 teams. 0-6 with the Giants, 1-4 with the Vikings. No one saw that coming in the schedule making, I guarantee it.
Absolutely not. This has been it for 1500ESPN.com. For Andrew Krammer, I'm Derek Wetmore. Please continue to check back to 1500ESPN.com for all the Vikings coverage for the rest of the night.